We're back on the Yaffee program. News Talk 770 AM, 92.5 FM, WVNN. Glad you joined the show today. Hope you had a good Father's Day yesterday. And if you want to weigh in on anything, you can. We have our Yaffee text line, 866-494-9866, 866-494-WVNN. Every Monday at this time, we speak with Todd Stacy. He is the host of Alabama Public Television's Capital Journal, and yes, with Alabama Daily News, which you can read every day at aldailynews.com. Todd, how are you this morning?
I'm great, Yaffee. How are you?
Doing good. So,
and happy Father's Day.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for that. Are you a dad? Sorry if you are and I forgot, but are you a father?
No.
Okay.
No,
hope you
never married, no kids.
Oh, so you're, what is it, dinks? Is that what they call it? Dual income, no kids? Isn't that the slang now?
There's no dual income, never married, no kids.
Never married. I'm sorry. Sink. So you're a sink then.
I think
Single.
they call that failure to launch.
No. Anyway, I do want to ask you about this latest with Tuberville. Once again, there's another residency challenge with Tuberville. I'm guessing this one's really not going to go anywhere, although some are pointing out that I guess the challenge is in the Montgomery area, so you might have a friendlier court there, but eventually you would go to the Alabama Supreme Court, and then you wouldn't have, most likely the Supreme Court would side with Tuberville. But I mean, what do you think about all this?
I mean, you're right to point out that the eventual venue is the Alabama Supreme Court. So, I mean, what are we really doing here? But I mean, I actually kind of like that it's in court this time rather than at the party. I mean, the party was right to take up the challenge, but everybody knew what was going to happen there, right? It was unanimous, but it was also a closed door hearing. There was no we didn't get to see all of the testimony and the evidence and all that kind of stuff. So it at least this time it's going to be in a court of law, and that's probably the right venue. But look, we've been reporting on this for over a year. Our first story on the Tuberville residency records, going back to his homestead tax exemption, you can only have one of those. You can't have them in multiple states. And his go back to 2018 in Alabama. That happened over a year ago. I think it was May of last year. And so we've been, I thought that kind of closed the case. But I mean, I guess we shouldn't be surprised that it keeps coming up because, why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't Democrats? Or, I mean, it's not just Democrats. Obviously, his primary opponent, Kim McPheeters. Why wouldn't anybody that was running against Tuberville try everything they could to kick him off the ballot? And I have to say, the very first tips we started getting about Tuberville's residency issues did not come from Democrats. They came from Republicans. So it's basically everybody that doesn't want Tuberville to be governor. But he's got the records. I mean, he's got the tax, property tax records. He's got the income tax records, and I think I have not seen anything that convinces me that there's a legal case to keep him off the ballot. So to me, this is just very much a political thing. And if I was Doug Jones, I really wouldn't want to be too close to this because I don't think it's a winning issue. I think normal people think about. I mean, there's a reason why Tuberville's been successful as a politician. He has universal name ID. Why is that the case? Because he started coaching in Auburn. He got hired to coach in Auburn in 1998. That's a long time ago. So people just understand that. They think about him going back 30 years. And so the idea that he hasn't been around long enough to serve as governor just doesn't compute with the normal voter.
Now, has Doug Jones really talked about this a lot? I mean, I think he's had a couple of jokes or something against Tuberville about this, but it
hasn't. That's right. He's not. really embraced it, which I think is wise because it does not need to seem like a Doug Jones orchestrated effort, which I don't think it is. I mean, it's a larger, this one is a larger Democratic effort, which, look, why wouldn't they try to do everything they could to keep Tuberville off the ballot? I mean, the best way to beat Tuberville in this election is for him to be kicked off the ballot, right? That's the best way to do it. I don't
They
think it's
can't
going
beat
to
him
work.
on the ballot, is what you're saying.
Well, yeah, it's a low probability. Look, something could happen. Something crazy could happen. I do think Democrats are energized more than they have been in a long time in the state, but it's pretty likely that Tuberville gets elected. So their best chance is to get him kicked off the ballot and have a rando get on there where Doug Jones could prevail.
Speaking with Todd Stacy, he's with Alabama Daily News. So speaking of the elections, what do you think of this idea of getting rid of the runoff? I personally like the runoff system. There's just something nice about the winner having to get an actual majority instead of a plurality. Because in the other system, you could potentially have someone win with just like 20% of the vote. But what do you think?
Who's talking about that? Who wants to? Are there people talking about getting rid of the runoff?
Yeah, AL.com had a big story on it for some reason, saying that because of the low turnout, maybe we should get rid of it and it costs too much money. I think the voters like it the way it is, but yeah, they had a big front page story on their website about it.
The AL.com had a story about things costing too much money. Okay. Yeah. That's not going to happen. I mean, getting more than 50% is good. I mean, we need to require that. Look, if that wasn't the case, sometimes you got to look at things in the negative. Like look in the negative light. Like, let's just say we did that, then in a contest for governor or U.S. Senate or any other important office, you could have, 10 candidates sign up to run, and one candidate could get 15% and be the party's nominee because nobody else, surpassed that, or 20, or 30, being generous. That is not enough. I mean, I think the low turnout is a problem. I didn't like it. There are many reasons why turnout was so low this time, but it does not require a constitutional fix or a legal fix to do away with the runoff. I mean, I think there are interesting electoral concepts that other states do. Like Louisiana is interesting. They have what's sometimes referred to as the jungle primary, where it's actually both parties, and so like everybody runs in the same primary, and the two.
Yeah, California does that too, I believe.
Yeah. So that no matter whether you're Republican or Democrat, like the top two emerge for the general election. That's kind of interesting, and you could see that, I don't know, energizing voters or getting more voter engagement, something like that. But no. You got to have a mandate. You got to have more than 50% of the voting base to be nominated. I think it would be very foolish to do something like that.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I mean, I know there's the ranked choice thing. Maybe that's what they're going for. Democrats seem to like that. Seems confusing to me when you talk the ranked choice stuff. But yeah, that's being thrown out there. I tend to agree. It's one of those things they're throwing out there, but it's never going to happen. People seem to like it the way it is. I'm speaking with Todd Stacy. Any thoughts about the runoff results? I haven't talked to you since the results.
I mean, they were what I expected. There was this question going in as to, if John Wall and Barry Moore lost, then there was going to be this whole narrative about the Trump endorsement and if it had lost its luster and all that. That didn't happen, obviously. And so those two candidates, I mean, I've told you before, and I've talked about many times, like it's not just getting the Trump endorsement, it's what you do with it. And I think both of those candidates, John Wall and Barry Moore, were able to turn that into currency, electoral currency, put it on TV, put it on the radio, put it in mail and all that. And so at the end of the day, I think low turnout really helped those candidates because the most committed voters, the most hardcore people that were going to get out to vote are those that are committed to the president. And while the other candidates had a really good message and good campaigns and all that, it's hard to overcome that, endorsement of Donald Trump, running on the airwaves over and over and over again. And so I think that did it. I am really impressed, though, because there was no Trump endorsement in the Attorney General race. They had to do it on their own. And I was really impressed I have been really since the beginning of Katherine Robertson's campaign. She did really well, and she was an underdog to start off with, and she's somebody to watch because that was a really good campaign.
What do you think about the polls? I mean, some of the polls were kind of all over the place. It seems like, what is that? Usually when I ask that question, I kind of hear that we don't really know how to poll because no one uses a landline anymore. So there's all these different ways to try to poll, and it's harder to get an accurate representation that way.
Well, I mean, you're right. The nature of polling has evolved. I mean, when I was, in politics long ago, like it was pretty much all landlines. They started to use cell phones, and that was kind of a new thing. Now they're even using text messages, which that may sound silly, but it's really not because I look at myself. I don't answer phone calls from numbers I don't know. I don't do that. Especially with all this spam. I mean, I'm just inundated with spam all day long, and so I don't answer those calls. But I'd be more likely to respond to a text, especially from a poll. And I did. I responded to a few text polls this time around. So the concept is fine. The problem is getting a universe of voters, getting a sample of voters that is actually going to vote. Because that's the first question, right? Will you vote on Tuesday? Are you likely to vote in the Republican primary? That is the key question in any poll. And back when I used to do polling, you'd have like multiple questions to try to ascertain that answer. If it's so easy in a text, like, hey, are you going to vote on Tuesday? Sure, yeah. I think one of the fundamental flaws of the polls that we saw is that I'm not sure if these respondents to these polls were actually going to vote. Clearly, they weren't. If they were, the results would have been far different. And right. So I think that's the fatal flaw is finding. We got to do a better job. These pollsters have to do a better job of whittling down the voting sample to people that are actually going to turn out to vote. And that's a really tough thing to do, but I think that was the big flaw.
Okay, yeah, I haven't heard that before, but I think that makes a lot of sense because you're right. It's got to be the people that are actually going to show up, which is probably harder to do when you have a low turnout to find those people for a poll. So that might be a part of it as well.
Oh, yeah.
Todd, Stacy with Alabama Daily News.
Nobody knows how to do that.
Yeah, exactly. Todd, really appreciate it. As always, my friend, we'll talk to you again next week.
All right, Yaffee, be good.
All right, there you go. When we get back, we'll start that Sunday news show's recap. This is the Yaffee Program.
The Yaffee Program. Square up.
Yo, what's going on, man? It's Andre Berto, two-time world champion. I fought. I loved it. I really wanted to do that sit down from a fighter's perspective.
My G. What's going on? Caleb Platts.
What's going on, my boy? Now you got a chance to really draw in your audience, to let them see who you are.
I've had to have a lot of internal talks to say, do I even want to carry on?
As fighters, we know what time it is. Like I think the time is now.
Square up.
Follow and listen on your favorite platform. Let's go.
Hey there, I'm Paula Pan. I help people make the smartest money decisions possible.
If you don't control your money, it controls you.
Yeah, you're not in control of your finances and you have to look outside of yourself to live the life that you want. You're not in control of your life.
Like, what is it that you actually want? Money should follow the dreams and goals, because sometimes we make the dream and goal the money and you've overworked yourself and you've exceeded what you've needed for the actual thing you want. Sometimes we forget, like, what's the actual thing you want?
Afford anything. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.